Okay, we're recording live from San Diego Comic-Con 2015 and we're here with Rachel Hartman, author of Seraphina and Shadow Scale. So, it's your third time at Comic-Con.
It is.
And how have you been enjoying it so far this year?
I've had a great time. I actually didn't have any events yesterday, so I walked around all day and enjoyed looking at everything and did some shopping.
Oh, good. Did you see any cosplay? Any awesome
I saw
cosplay?
Some wonderful cosplay. I think my favorite one so far, somebody who's dressed up as the house from Up. She's got like a big house on her and then the balloons come out the back.
Wow.
It's super cute.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about your books. And I have some questions for you here. So the concept of a half-dragon main character isn't one readers see very often. What led you to the basis for such unique characters?
Well, a little background explanation. I used to draw a comic book before I started writing. It was set in the same world. It was called Amy Unbounded. And in the comic, dragons could take human form. And so once I had that already established in the world, at first I sort of rejected the idea that they could interbreed this way, but then I thought, it would make a really interesting conflict. If this girl was born and if her mother was a dragon and her father was a human, and her father didn't know until her mother died in childbirth, this would create an interesting kind of family background, real tension. And so that was the seed of the story right there.
Great. You created a really rich, complex fantasy world. What element was your favorite part to dream up and why?
Oh, golly. Well, in a way it was coming up with the idea that dragons could take human form. Like I said, it came from my comic book days, and one of the reasons I came up with this idea is that I always meant for there to be dragons. I love dragons, and I was excited. I had dragon characters planned, but because I was also drawing the book, I was going to have to draw them. And dragons are really difficult to draw. They've got horns and scales and fangs, and they're just very fiddly. And so, in a fit of laziness, I decided if dragons could take human form, I could draw humans. And then I wouldn't have to worry about the whole, whether the head looked right and all that. And so I thought I was just being lazy, but it turned out to be this well of great ideas. And sort of everything else has spiraled out from that.
Cool. And if you could write a spin-off about any characters, or I guess side characters from your novel, who would it be and why?
Oh, well now it's interesting. I'm writing a second duology set in the same world, which is in a way kind of a spin-off. It's actually about one of Seraphina's half-sisters. They're fully human, but they're half-sisters to Seraphina. And so that is, I guess, the choice I've made. However, there are plenty of other characters in it that I would love to have their own stories. Her uncle Orma, the dragon, and one of her fellow half-dragons whose name is Abdo, who's an acrobat and a little rascal. I would love to write a story about him as well.
Would you be interested in expanding the universe and doing that, or?
Oh yeah, everything I write I think I'm going to set in the same universe. I've spent a lot of time there and it's become very big. And so I really feel like almost any kind of story I want to tell, I can fit right in there.
Great. Seraphina faces a constant sense of moral ambiguity. Are there ever clear-cut right and wrong decisions in a narrative?
That's an interesting question. I always feel like the more interesting dilemmas are the ones where you have to come up with a solution for yourself. I feel that's the way I experienced my own life, that the answers I came up with yesterday, they might not work today, and you have to be willing to think on your feet a little bit and be flexible. And that's, I think, the great virtue for people in my world is flexibility.
Yeah. And since we're at Comic-Con, if you could cosplay, what would you cosplay?
That's a really interesting question. I'm not really a costume person, but so I've never done it. But I think if I were going to cosplay, I would like to be some sort of dragon. I'm not sure how I'd pull it off, but I think I would enjoy doing that.
You'd be amazed how many people will draw stuff.
There are people who have much more talent in that area than I do, so.
Yeah.